The RX 6600 is a mid-range graphics card from AMD, and it was released in late 2021. This card promises high-end gaming performance at a more affordable price point than some of the higher-end graphics cards on the market. But the question is this: is it actually worth it? That's what we're here to find out, because in this video we're going to be taking a deep dive into the ins and outs of this graphics card to help you decide if it's worth your hard-earned money in 2023. The 6600 is a mid-range card from AMD, and it's built on the RDNA 2 architecture. RDNA 2 is one of the latest and most advanced GPU architecture from AMD, and it promises to deliver improved performance and power efficiency. The 6600 features 36 compute units, which is a measure of the number of stream processors or CUDA cores in a GPU. These are the building blocks of the GPU that perform the calculations required for gaming and other graphics intensive tasks. With 112 texture mapping units, 64 ROPs, and 1792 shading units, the 6600 has more than enough power to handle most modern games. The base clock speed of the RX 6600 is 1626 MHz, and the boost clock speed is 2491 MHz. In essence, the higher the clock speed, the faster the GPU can process its data, which results in better performance. The 6600 also has 8GB of GDDR6 memory, which is the memory that the GPU uses to store and access the data. GDDR6 memory is among the latest and fastest type of memory available, and it's designed to work in conjunction with the RDNA 2 architecture to deliver improved performance. The memory clock speed of the RX 6600 is 14GB per second, which is a measure of how fast the memory can access its data. It's also important to note that the RX 6600 is constructed using 7nm technology, allowing for high performance, power efficient architecture. It also includes support for ray tracing, a technology used in video games to produce realistic lighting and shadows. And though they are still AMD's first generation implementation of the technology, which means the ray tracing efficiency aren't quite as good as what you would find in a product like the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, you can still trust the 6600 to perform very well in any ray tracing game nevertheless. Overall, the 6600 is a very well-rounded graphics card that offers a good balance of performance and power efficiency. With its RDNA 2 architecture, high clock speeds and fast memory, it's well suited for gaming and other graphics intensive tasks. The power rating of any graphics card is an important consideration when choosing a GPU, as it tells you how much power the card will actually require to operate. The RX 6600 has a TDP rating of 132 watts, which is relatively low compared to some of the higher end graphics cards on the market today, which can have a TDP rating of 250 watts or more. A lower TDP rating means that the GPU will require much less power to run, which can help to reduce the overall power consumption and cooling requirements of the computer. It will also make your gaming system more cost effective and much easier to upgrade in the future. In summary, the power rating of 132 watts of the RX 6600 means that it's a more energy efficient graphics card, which will generate much less heat. The 6600 is currently priced at around $190, which is significantly cheaper than some of the higher end graphics cards on the market, such as the RTX 3080, which can cost upwards of $580. When compared to some of the other mid-range graphics cards on the market, the 6600 is priced competitively. It's also cheaper than the GeForce RTX 3060, which costs around $300, which is an almost similar mid-range graphics card, but it's also slightly more expensive than a used GeForce GTX 1660 Super, which you can get for around $150. There's no doubt that the 6600 is priced competitively for a mid-range graphics card, and it offers a good balance of price and performance. At $190, it's an affordable option for those looking for a good performance graphics card that will not break your bank. The temperature, fan noise, and cooling of the 6600 are all important factors to consider in 2023, as there are other options that can considerably offer that low noise output that you desire. The RX 6600 is designed to run at relatively low temperature, reaching a max temperature of 82 degrees Celsius during intensive gaming, compared to the 93 degrees Celsius of the 6600 XT. The temperature of the GPU can also be monitored using software such as AMD's Radeon software, which will provide information about the current temperature and the thermal throttling status of the GPU. The fan noise of the 6600 is likewise relatively low, coming in at 29.7 decibels, as the card is equipped with a quiet fan that's designed to operate at low speeds, which helps to keep the noise level down. It's also important to note that the fan noise can vary depending on the temperature and the workload that's currently on the GPU. And when it comes to cooling, this card comes with a high performance heatsink and a fan that works together to dissipate the heat generated by the GPU. The heatsink is designed to transfer heat away from the GPU and into the air, whilst the fan is designed to move the hot air out of the graphics card. The graphics card also supports the use of liquid cooling solutions, which can be used to improve the cooling performance even further. In terms of gaming performance, the 6600 is capable of delivering solid frame rates at 1440 and 1080p resolutions. When it comes to specific game benchmarks, the 6600 performs quite well. Starting with 1080p gaming, the 6600 has consistently hit high frame rates in games like Death Stranding, with an average of 135 frames using the highest in-game quality preset. This is actually a lot better outcome in comparison to the other AMD GPUs that we've seen in the cards before this, because the RX 6600 was able to compete with the RX 5700 this time, making it a little faster than the 3060. In Horizon Zero Dawn, it averaged 87 frames on ultra settings, and in Watch Dogs Legion, it hit an average of 65 frames on ultra settings. The 6600 was able to compete with the RTX 3060, 2070 and 2060 Super, thanks to the 1080p data, making it about 10% slower than the XT variant, but you will still agree that this result is still acceptable. It also performed really well in the popular multiplayer game Rainbow Six Siege, with an amazing average of 263 FPS on high settings. The 6600 also did well in F1 2020, with an average of 141 FPS on ultra settings, and finally in Cyberpunk 2077, with an average of 60 FPS on high settings. Moving on to 1440p gaming, the 6600 still maintains strong performance, though frame rates are slightly lower due to the increased resolution. In Death Stranding, it averaged 95 frames on ultra settings, and in Horizon Zero Dawn, it hit an average of 64 frames on ultra settings. Watch Dogs Legion averaged 45 frames on ultra settings, and Rainbow Six Siege hit an average of 159 FPS on high settings. Similarly, it still performed well in F1 2020, with an average of 102 frames on ultra, and in Cyberpunk, with an average of 35 frames on high settings, which is the lowest so far. However, when it comes to 4K resolution, the 6600 may struggle to deliver a playable frame rate in those games. It's also important to note that these benchmarks are approximate, and the actual performance may vary depending on the specific system configuration and other factors such as cooling and power supply. Additionally, these benchmarks are for high settings, and in some games you may be able to achieve better frame rates just by reducing some other settings. But overall, the 6600 is a solid choice for gamers looking for a powerful card that can handle a 1080p and 1440p gaming experience with ease. It offers impressive performance across a variety of popular games, as we've seen, with high frame rates and smooth gameplay on Ultra. And let's not forget that it also promises solid performance and good features and a relatively low TDP. If it keeps its price advantage, the Radeon RX 6600 will remain one of the best GPUs available. Even though Nvidia's options are more robust and usually more desirable, their prices are still too high compared to the other products that are on the market. But what do you guys think of this graphics card? Do you think you'd buy it anytime soon? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And with that, we've come to the end of our video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We're always posting educational content and would love you to be a part of the family. Have a nice day.